To draw the Lewis structure for the compound HOCl, the first step you have to do is to determine how many electrons does each of these atoms really want. Hydrogen wants only 2 electrons to be happy. Oxygen and chlorine both want 8 electrons to be happy. So the total is going to be 18 electrons. Okay. Step 2 is to find out the valence electrons. Let's go to the periodic table and find out how many valence electrons does each of these atoms really has, right? So on the periodic table, hydrogen is in group 1, so the valence electron for hydrogen will be 1. Oxygen is in group 6, okay? So that means the valence electrons for oxygen will be 6. Chlorine is in group 7. That means that the valence electrons for chlorine will be 7. If you sum all these electrons together, you will get a total valence electrons of 14 electrons. So step 3 is to find out the bonding electrons. To find out the bonding electrons, you have to subtract the valence electrons from the total electrons. The total electrons was 18 electrons and the valence electrons was 14. 18 minus 14 will give you 4 electrons. And remember this, when we draw a single line means that it has 2 electrons. So to find out how many number of bonds, how many number of lines we are going to draw in our Lewis structure for this compound, we have to divide 4 by 2. We divide by 2 because each line has 2 electrons. So 4 divided by 2 will give us 2 bonds. That means we will have 2 lines in the Lewis structure for this compound. Okay. The 4th step is to draw the skeleton. If you are drawing the skeleton, we have to figure out which atom will be in the center. Oxygen loves attention. Oxygen wants to be in the center. And also, oxygen is less electronegative compared to chlorine. And as we saw earlier, we will have 2 bonds, 2 lines. So one line connecting hydrogen to oxygen and another line connecting oxygen to chlorine. The next step to do is to check if the atoms are happy. We saw that hydrogen wants only 2 electrons to be happy. So hydrogen already has 2 electrons by connecting with a single line to oxygen. So hydrogen is happy. Oxygen and chlorine, they wanted 8 electrons to be happy. But as we see, oxygen has only 2 bonds. So that means oxygen only has 4 electrons. So oxygen is not happy. Chlorine has only 1 line. That means that chlorine has currently 2 electrons. Chlorine 2 is not happy. To make the chlorine and the oxygen happy, we have to give them the leftover money, the leftover electrons. Leftover electrons is the same as non-bonding electrons. So to find the non-bonding electrons, we have to subtract the bonding electrons, which is 4 electrons, from the valence electron. We had 14 valence electrons. So 14 valence electrons minus 4 bonding electrons, you will have 10 non-bonding electrons. Each line has 2 electrons. So 10 divided by 2 would be 5 lone pairs. So chlorine wanted 8 electrons, right? And currently it has 2 electrons. So we are going to add 6 extra electrons to it. We do that with dots. So 2, 4, 6. Don't just place the electrons around the chlorine anyhow. You can imagine that the chlorine is in a box and each side of the box will have maximum of 2 electrons. We initially had 10 non-bonding electrons and we have given 6 to chlorine. That means we are left with 4 because 10 minus 6 is 4. We will add the extra 4 electrons onto the oxygen. So the oxygen will have an octet. So 2, 4. Now let's check the happiness level again. We know that hydrogen wanted 2 electrons. So hydrogen is already happy. Oxygen wanted 8 electrons. Does oxygen now has 8 electrons? Let's see. 2 lines will give you 4 electrons. And we have 2 lone pairs on the oxygen. That means oxygen has 8 electrons. Oxygen is happy. How about chlorine? Chlorine also wanted 8 electrons. So let's see if chlorine has 8 electrons. We have 2, 4, 6, 8. Chlorine 2 is happy, right? So to do this with the model kit, the white ball is the hydrogen, and the red ball in the center is the oxygen, and the blue ball is your chlorine. Okay, so the bond or the line between the atoms is represented by this stick, and each stick is 2 electrons, as we have already been talking about. These pointies on the atoms will be the lone pairs or the non-bonding electrons. We know that we had 5 lone pairs. So how many lone pairs do we see? We see 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this will be the Lewis structure for HOCl compound. Please do check out all the videos we've made on the Lewis structures. You'll find amazing videos on so many compounds. And do subscribe, like, comment. Let me know what you think about this video. See you in the next video. Thank you for watching again.